Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Food and Football with Brad. I am Brad. And boy, do we have a great show today. Week 5 in the books. Do you know what that means? We are down to 2 undefeated teams. What?
Illegal formation. Announcer.
Legal formation? Get out of here. All right, what was I saying? Okay, we have 2 undefeated teams. The New England Patriots, most of us thought they would be there. But then this other team in the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers. Did you think they would be undefeated at 4-0? It's a big surprise. I have to be honest, I didn't buy into them. And again, we're getting closer as we're week 5, week 6. Again, you serious here?
Delay a game?
You know what? I'm going to challenge this. Can I challenge it? I challenge that referee that doesn't want to show his face. Anyways, coming up on Food and Football, we have a splendid show today. Elizabeth is a special interview guest from the Fantasy Food and Football League. I will talk to her. Plus, I have a food analogy that will make you think twice about throwing. And, of course, Week 6 NFL picks. Pistol Pete is back in action. That is all next on Food and Football.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDBTV.
It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. That's why we're here to sing football.
Welcome back to Food and Football. I am Brad. I always preferred the slow cooker when I make beautiful lentil soup. I know the microwave is faster. You can cook in 4 minutes. But here, the evolutionary of a slow cooker. You know what's so great about this? As I'm just going to stir it. We control the pace. We control the clock. I can do this for 2 hours. 4 hours, 6 hours, I can go up to 8 hours. I can let things marinate. I can let the spices really cook. I mean, I understand the microwave, it's cool. It's got a lot of buttons. It's fun. If you're a kid, you love to press it. You love to open the doors. It's more 2019. But the slow cooker, over time, you are dictating the pace. You take that microwave and you keep it on the sidelines. That microwave is not going to cook. It's not going to feed. It's not going to eat. The slow cooker will, because you're controlling the clock. Just like here in the National Football League, we always talk about passing. And as much as I love Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and all these quarterbacks that throw up these numbers, it all comes down to the running game. And every year I have an argument with a friend or a relative, and they talk about, like my dad from Brooklyn, New York. He goes, yeah, but Patrick Mahomes, he throws the ball over the field, 4 touchdowns. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? It's about controlling the clock. I mean, 4 minutes for lentil soup when I can do it for 4 hours? I can keep that microwave on the sidelines. I can frustrate the hell out of them by cooking like this. Isn't that better to keep the Aaron Rodgers, the Patrick Mahomes on the sideline? Run the ball. What happened this week? Every winning team from the Cards to the Colts controlled the clock by running the football. All 15 teams that won ran for at least 27 times. 8 of them ran for 38 plus times. Every one of them had more yards rushing, more time of possession, because that's what this game's about. Yeah, throwing's great. The microwave's wonderful. All those buttons that you can press, cool little gadgets. It cooks lentil soup really fast. But here, as I'm going to sample this, I make some lentil soup. I'm going to actually use a spoon so I don't burn myself here. It's good. It's better. It tastes better. And over time, it's more effective because I am frustrating that microwave. And then I take some pink Himalayan salt, I take my oregano, and I'm gonna blast them. I'm gonna fatigue it into submission because I'm gonna keep cooking it and running the ball, pounding that ball. And then those Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady's, and the old days of Peyton Manning's, the Dan Marinos, they don't get on the field because we are controlling the clock. And if you think that the running back has devalued a little bit, it has. Because you can now get a running back in the 5th round, in the 6th round, in the 7th round. Alex Kamara, Aaron Jones from Green Bay, late round picks. But you know what will never be devalued? The offensive line. The most underappreciated position in all of sports, the left tackle, the left guard, the center, the ones who want to gas you, who want to fatigue you into submission, who want to control the clock, the pace, the slow cooker, not the microwave. And if you think, hey, Brad, I know what you're saying, but you're crazy, the microwave has got all these cool little gadgets, look at the bottom 4 teams in the NFL. They are leading the league in the least amount of rushing percentage. That is the Atlanta Falcons, Cincinnati Bengals, Miami Dolphins, and the Washington Redskins. They run the ball the least, and they have the least amount of wins. Is that a coincidence? No, it's not. Coming up next, fantasy football interview Elizabeth from the Annihilators. That is next, F&F with Brad. We have Elizabeth with us from Team Annihilators. Elizabeth, you are now 2-3 in fantasy football after beating your husband. How does that feel?
It feels really good. The first time I beat it was my boss, and then now I beat my husband. So I think I'm doing pretty good right now.
What was breakfast like this morning after you defeated him?
It was actually, because we don't see each other for breakfast since he leaves so earlier, it was lunchtime. And, you know, he was like, he told me he was going to win a few weeks ago. And I was like, no, it's going to be. And then when I lost 3 straight, I was like, okay, you might win. And then I pulled out a win. I was really excited.
Whoa, he was talking junk to you 2 weeks prior? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Oh, man, that gets pretty competitive in that household. What was it like Sunday morning prior to game day?
Oh, so prior to game day, he was still confident that he was going to win. And I was kind of confident that he was going to win as well.
You didn't tell him that, though, did you?
Oh, no, I never tell him. I never show him.
What's your fantasy football experience? When did you get started?
So I got started right after high school when I was 18, so about 5 years ago. I used to play just the regular NFL before I got into leagues with people I knew.
And what's your formula for drafting? What's your strategy?
So I always pick, my receiver, my running back, and then I jump to picking a quarterback before everybody else does. And usually that works out well for me. I had Drew Brees and Tom Brady this year, but then Drew Brees got hurt. So I ended up having to pick up Jameis Winston.
Who did you draft first, Brees or Brady?
Drew Brees, easily. He always puts up solid points.
Okay, you dropped him even though he's coming back.
Yeah. Probably going to pick him back up. I don't even know if he's available yet, though.
How much advice do you give your husband on drafting, on fantasy football strategy?
It's actually funny. So the first year we played together, we sat together and we started giving each other pointers. And then after the first year we played together, we don't do that anymore. I actually call my little brother, and he helps me.
All right, that's what I was getting at. I was gonna flip that around and say, how much advice does he give you? But I said, how much advice do you give him?
Yeah.
And how have you fared against him in previous years?
So in previous years, I think it's more like 50-50. I'd win one, he'd win one, kind of like that. But no one has ever, dominated the other one.
I heard you are a big Seattle Seahawks fan. Are you from Seattle?
No, my dad's from Tacoma.
The Roman Tacoma. Interesting. Did he get you into the Seahawks then?
Oh, yes, of course. We are a big Seahawks fan. He raises the 12th, his big flagpole every Sunday.
When did you start watching football?
Ever since I could remember. Football was a part of our lives. I remember being 3 and 4, and my dad was throwing a football at me and my sister and my little brother.
And who is the husband a fan of?
New York Giants.
Oh, you see, he's a smart guy. You see, I was on your side. Now I might have to flip here. I didn't know he was a Giants fan. See, you married that was a smart marriage. You can't go wrong with a Giants fan. What did your father tell you about that?
He actually was okay with it. I had an ex-boyfriend that was a Steelers fan, and he did not like that. That was not going well with him. But he was like, okay, the Giants we're not rivals.
Well, what's more competitive in your house, when the G-Men and the Hawks play, or fantasy football week?
Oh, fantasy football week, easy.
Wow.
Easy, yeah. When our teams play, we both, like I said, we're not rivals, so we both have, a little bit of love because the other one likes the team. But in fantasy, it's a lot more competitive.
All right. And also, I heard that you play flag football. Where do you play flag football at?
So I play at All-American Park. So
Okay.
I took off a year when I had my son, but we're going to start playing again in December.
How competitive are the leagues?
Extremely. So the league that I play in is it's a co-ed, but there's only me and another girl that play throughout the whole league. And so it's all guys. The girls' leagues aren't as competitive, and they're not as good, so there's no competition to it, and it's not fun.
What position do you play?
Linebacker.
Ah, linebacker. I like that. Mr. Couch Potato must be very proud of you.
Oh, yeah, he is. I played a year for the Lingerie Football League out of high school, but that wasn't for me.
But you gave it a go. What was wrong with it?
You're under your own insurance, so if you get hurt, it's all up to you. And I'm really career-focused, so it's like I don't want to get hurt recreationally and then not be able to go to work.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I want to thank you very much, Elizabeth, for your time. I wish you the best of luck, and tell your husband I said hi, and go Giants.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. I'll let him know.
Welcome back to Food and Football. I am Brad. That was Elizabeth from the Annihilators. She is a relative. She's actually the wife of the Couch Potatoes owner. I know, pretty good. They get very competitive, and that's how fantasy is. In fact, Pete Pistol told me that many couples have gone through divorce because of fantasy football. It gets that competitive. Anyways, I want to give you a breakdown of both leagues of food and football, but we'll start with the Barry Sanders League. Mr. 33 is in first place, tied at 4-1 with We Are Marshall. That's Jacob Johnson. I think we got to get him on the show. And Jerry is from Mr. 33. We got to start getting the leaders on this show. If you're watching, and I know you are, come on, be a guest. You'll sample some food, and we'll talk fantasy football. What's your strategy? How are you 4-1? And how are you handling Mr. Rude? Because I think we need a phone call from Mr. Rude. It's been a while. Someone scared him off. I don't know who it was. All right, we have the Chewbaccas tied with the Detroit Destroyers, both at 3-2. There it is, Detroit Destroyers. And we know who that is. I know, I give them a little credit. Team 20 at 3-2. Jackal 2, 3-0. Terror Squad. And pretty much the rest of the league is there at 2-3. But in last place, and don't take offense to this Cuban Missile, but it's still early. So it would be an overreaction to say that you're done. You still have a chance. That's why we make trades, and we talk about this all the time. Make a trade. Offer someone. Be careful of Mr. Rude. I heard he rips people off. And that's also what Elizabeth told me, that there are people out there that will try to take advantage of you. In the Food and Football League, we have nobody above 3-2. That's really interesting. Detroit Destroyers 3-2. Yeah. Big Bad Bills tied 3-2. Big Ballers and Couch Potatoes and Shop Tools all at 3-2. And then the rest of the league is tied at 2-3. That would be the Annihilators, Elizabeth, CLW, Land of Confusion, Big Blue, and Pops. Getting close to the nitty-gritty of fantasy football. Please join us, okay? Because we want more guests. We would like for the owners of these teams to come on and say what you really feel about your teams. Coming up next, We have a food review with Lamont. We're going to do grape jelly barbecue meatballs. We're going to talk about the ingredients, the prep time. We're going to taste some food. And I heard there's some tasty beverages for me also. And we will do Week 6 picks of the National Football League. You are watching Food and Football with Brad. Hi, welcome back to Food and Football with Brad and Pete Pistol. I actually have to admit, I feel a little inadequate now. I'm here making lentil soup in my crock pot, and you came up with this beautiful concoction of grape jelly barbecue meatballs? Where did you come up with that?
Well, actually, this is something that my wife made for me many years ago, and it's been a quick, tasty meal, filling meal, that just love. And this is meatballs, Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, and grape jelly. You put it in a
Smuckers?
slow cooker. Yes, whatever type of grape jelly. And the great thing about this, you can add whatever you want. I like to add a little honey to it. And the grape jelly gives it a little, like a sweet. And tangy.
Okay. You're a sweet person then, right?
Absolutely. I'm sweet on you.
Oh, I know you
Now,
are.
and so it's great. You can actually add, if you want a little more pepper in it, or if you want to add a little hot sauce, or whatever to your liking, green peppers or whatever. But I like it like this, and also you can have it with some rice or something, and it's just delicious. And I can't wait to try it.
Wow.
And you have to you
Does
bake
your wife
it.
like this?
Absolutely, yes, yes. And you put this in for about 3 hours. You can buy your meatballs, or you can make your own meatballs. If you buy frozen meatballs, put them in there for about 3 hours and let everything just marinate and simmer, and it's delicious.
See, we're getting back to that slow cooker over the You couldn't do something like this in a microwave, could you? I mean, it wouldn't taste the same.
No.
See, that's why we let it control the tempo, win the time of possession, control the pace of the cooking, and you fatigue the other team into submission. You take that microwave and you keep it off the field, right?
Absolutely. Now, while I try this, will you try that green drink over there? Try that.
I'd love to.
And tell them about
I
it.
will. This is organic super fruit greens with orange, mango, pineapple, cucumber, spinach, romaine, and kale. So I got my greens in here. It's 100% organic, non-GMO. It's cold pressed fruit and vegetable juice. We'll just get quickly into the nutrients. 39 milligrams of calcium, not bad. That's 4% of the RDA. We have 21 milligrams of vitamin C. That's 25%. Very good. It has 3 grams of protein. Do you see? Greens actually have protein. You don't need to eat meat all the time to get protein. 41 grams of carbs, 36 grams of sugar. But hey, I mean, this is how I get through a show like this with you. I need some sugar. I don't do caffeine. Oh, man. You can taste the kale. It's good, though. You can taste the kale, and you can taste the mangoes and a lot of the sweetness. It's very good.
And that's good for a nutritionist and a healthy eating person like yourself.
Yeah. I was drinking one of these juices the other day, and my son goes, "Why is your neck moving? Why is your neck moving?" It was the cutest thing. I said, "Yeah, it's my Adam's apple." And he goes, "Can I do that?" I said, "Go ahead." So I give him some water, and he goes, He's adorable.
He is adorable, and I've talked to him a couple of times, and
likes
he's
you.
very interested. I know that. We got to get him on the show, and
Maybe next week.
he likes to talk to me. I call the house, and then I end up talking to your son, Sage.
Yeah.
So we have to get him on the show.
He does like to eat, and he does like football, and he sings a song, "It's the Sport of King," better than Diamond Ring. That's why we're here to say football. Sunday in the snow, referees whistle blow. We're Warriors toe-to-toe football.
Now, these were delicious, and I'm going to finish the rest of them later.
Please.
But we have a dessert.
And this is, you could do turkey also. How does that taste? Have you ever tried the turkey meatballs with this concoction?
I had turkey, substitute turkey for ground beef. The turkey is a little more milder, so I tend to season it a little bit more, put a little more seasoning on it. But that's just my preferential taste.
Okay.
You may like it, or people with turkey may like it a little more bland.
May.
But it's all about the sauce, really. So turkey's just as fine. It works just as good.
Slow cooker, I like that. Okay, for dessert.
And this here is a strawberry ring. And this little exciting thing, I happen to be at Jerry's Nugget. So anyone that happens to come to Las Vegas, and if you want to go off the strip, look for Jerry's Nugget. They have this as a strawberry ring. It's a puff biscuit with Bavarian cream, strawberries, and whipped cream, chocolate frosting, and white chocolate on top, and a fresh strawberry on top. And this is delicious. I'm actually going to save this for John. He actually claimed it, so he wants to eat
Really?
this.
John, would you like to come over here and sample a little bit of the meatball?
I want the meatballs.
I know you are. Because you got to eat the meatballs first. This is the dessert. Goes in that order. But everything's sweet here.
Yum.
You got your sweet. This is like
yum.
perfect for like Monday Night Football.
I'll save the dessert for later.
Okay. All right, there's a bowl. You go straight in there.
Speaking of meatballs,
Sweet?
I was thinking, you know what these be great? Salsa or a picante sauce.
That's interesting.
another plan. It's
Yeah.
another
Another
option.
variation. Okay.
So give you the, do a batch with the barbecue sauce and then a batch with the salsa, which would give you back and forth.
Right.
Anyway, never mind.
Where did you find this recipe?
My wife made this for me many years ago.
Okay.
So
She just came up with it out of the blue. She never saw a cookbook or anything.
I think she got it somewhere.
Okay.
But like I said, and I was really surprised, because you get tired of just eating. If you want to eat red meat or ground beef, you get tired of a hamburger or a steak or something like this. This is a little different,
Yeah.
and this is a little easier to eat. You're
Sure.
not cutting anything. You can just pick a meatball up and eat the whole thing.
And you get some health value with the.
It's more
grape,
of an appetizer,
right?
But if you eat enough, it's like eating a meal.
Sure.
So
Absolutely. With the grape jelly gives you some antioxidants.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, he winks there. I'll finish this. This is really good, man. Tasty.
And I'll finish this, a little more of this.
You go ahead. You eat away. And you said this is for John.
Right.
Okay.
Jerry's Nugget, the pastry shop, they bake those fresh every day. Strawberry ring. It looks delicious. I mean,
It does.
I fell in love with it when I saw it.
Yeah. Look at it. The first thing I would go for is probably the cheesy part and the strawberry because there's all kinds of syrup on there and it looks really good and sweet. I was never a whipped cream guy, but the bottom half of it looks delish. See? What do you think? What do you go for first when you attack something like this? I mean, you have to have a game plan.
I take
right?
the strawberries off.
Okay, you take the strawberries off and then you just go to work on this.
Right. And then I take the chocolate. I go for the chocolate topping.
You're a chocolate guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it's
I can
sweet.
tell.
I go for the sweet.
Okay, you go for the sweetness. Well, I go for the fruit, the little cheese. I'm a pretty good variation. But as you see, we're very diverse here. We eat many different types of food, and we always appreciate your suggestion. You could go on the Food and Football website if you're not already on there, and please share your favorite pre-football food, snack, dessert. What do you like to eat during football, after? We'd like to hear from you. Coming up next, NFL Week 6 picks. Pete Pistol, you're going to stay on, do some picks with me?
I'm coming back.
Yeah, after you clean yourself up, right?
Right.
That is next, Food and Football with Brad. Thank you for watching Food and Football with Brad. I am waiting for Pete Pistol to come back to do Week 6 picks. He is not here. He's a little tardy. So we'll get started Week 1.
Excuse me. I had to eject that Pete Pistol guy because unnecessary roughness.
Not you again.
He bumped into me in the hallway, and I
So
had
you
to kick
ejected
out
him for
again.
that?
I had ejected him.
But don't you need 2 personal fouls before you eject somebody? Who
No.
are you, by the way?
No, unnecessary roughness, sir. I take this very seriously. Don't question the ref. I'm in uniform. People disrespect me all the time. They don't respect the ref. You're just like those coaches.
Well, you throw a lot of flags. I mean, you interrupted my intro to start throwing delay of games at me. You're throwing Pete Pistol at it, and now you're eating our food.
But you realize I went to ref school. That's why I became a ref, to have the responsibility to call the game like I see it. And I see you making these fouls and you're not announcing properly. I just had to say something. I wish people would take me seriously. I'm very emotional about
Well,
this.
you look very serious. Your face looks kind of different. I mean, who employed you? Are you employed by the NFL or
Well, yes, the union, the National Football League, the union, the referees union, and I come up through the ranks. I've been refereeing a long time. I take this very seriously. And people don't appreciate me. That's why I have to wear this mask. They were harassing my kids because I made some questionable calls. Remember that game a couple years ago, that Monday night game, the Packers in Seattle?
Yeah.
I was refereeing that game. I had to call that at the end of the game, and people start harassing me.
Well, I wonder why they harassed you. Don't you think that might have been a pretty BS bogus call?
That was a good call. It was a great call. That's how I saw it.
What about that call in the playoffs, the Rams and the Saints? Were you part of that? Because you look familiar. Not that I stare at the referees, but you look familiar.
Unfortunately, they can't. They try to get everything right, but you can't. That's why we have the instant replay, and we take this job very seriously. We're a very professional organization, but people shouldn't. Those Saints fans were very rude to us. We had to get a police escort to get out of there.
Well, you're a little aggressive with the flag. Would you like to do Week 6 sensational 6 picks since Pete Pistol is now ejected out of the studio?
Let it rip. I'm ready.
Okay, we'll start with the first game, Seattle at the Cleveland Browns.
Seattle at the Cleveland Browns. They're traveling east. And the Browns got beat up by the 49ers. They're going to be angry. Mm-hmm. But I'm taking Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay, I'm sure if you're reffing that game, I'm a little nervous. So I'm going to probably go with Seattle also because the Browns are coming off a big loss Monday night.
I can't reveal which game I'll be at just for privacy and security.
Just for privacy.
Security purposes.
Well, the Browns are having difficulty guarding against the run. Seattle likes to run the ball, and they're running the ball well. And Russell Wilson is absolutely the better quarterback. I like the Seahawks on the road, and Cleveland's going to lose again, and they'll be 2-4. Okay, next game. Wow. Texans at Chiefs. Wasn't my decision.
Patrick Mahomes has been injured, and they've been roughing the Chiefs up. So Houston, but I think the Chiefs will rebound this time since they're playing at home.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm going to go with you because this is an angry Chief team. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is a little banged up with his ankle. Sometimes the Texans don't travel well, and the last couple years, even though they have made the postseason, they are inconsistent off of big wins. I like the Chiefs to bounce back and Andy Reid to make the necessary adjustments to stop the run, because there's no doubt that Houston is going to do, or they're going to at least try to do what the Indianapolis Colts did, and that's gash them on the run, right? Use that slow cooker mentality, control the pace, dictate the pace, time of possession. I will also go with the Chiefs.
Also, they have great barbecue in Kansas City, and Andy Reid and we go to the same barbecue.
So
I wasn't supposed to say that. I wasn't supposed to say that, but
when he was with Philly, you probably screwed my Giants.
I'm a professional.
Right. You probably screwed my Giants a couple times. Okay, here's a big tough one for you, tough guy. Redskins at the Dolphins. These are two teams that have not won a game, and I'm sure you're aware of that.
Well, I hate to say this. I'm glad they fired that Gruden guy anyway, because he was really getting on our nerves. But anyway, moving right along. I want Miami to win this one.
You want Miami to win?
I mean, I think Miami's going to win. I didn't say I want them to win.
Let me ask you a question. Is Miami tanking? Are they trying to play like Pua for Tua?
I don't think any team would intentionally tank. I mean, you shouldn't do that. But
no, you shouldn't do that.
Maybe they would get their first win.
All right, somebody has to win. Somebody has to win. And I think Washington is coming off a high firing Jay Gruden, and I don't really know if Haskins is going to be the quarterback or not. I will take the Redskins over the Miami Dolphins just because I don't think the Dolphins are really playing for anything and trying. Yes, the humidity, but I'm going to go with the Redskins. All right? Okay. Next game, Mr. What do we call you, by the way? Just Mr. Referee? Is that what
I'm a masked referee. I can't, for security reasons, I can't be revealed.
Okay, that's why you're wearing that funny face?
Don't get too personal.
Okay, not too personal. You have nice white teeth, though.
You think my face is funny, right?
Well,
thank my dentist.
Yeah, I will thank your dentist. Beautiful teeth. Eagles at the Vikings. This is a tough game. These are two teams that need this game. They're both 3-2.
Philly cheesesteak. Okay, so yeah, I mean, that should let you know I'm going for the Eagles, right? Hey, I'm going for the Eagles. Kirk Cousins has been a little slow, and
he was great last week, though,
because
you probably didn't ref his game. He was great last week, Kirk Cousins. Best game he's played in a couple years.
One of my friends reffed the game. Now, don't get personal.
No, I'm not getting personal. Well, I mean, you threw two flags at me. You ruined my intro, and you threw my partner off
I want
studio
to say
lot.
I like this. I get to express myself and show emotion. When I'm on the field, they want us to be monotone and don't show partiality.
Okay,
I
can't tell you're throwing emotion because your face is covered, but that's okay. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take the Eagles just because I don't trust Kirk Cousins 2 games in a row, and I like the Phillies D to force Kirk Cousins to win this game and not allow them to run the football. I will take the Philadelphia Eagles to go 4-2. That leaves us with a tough game. This might be a little bit harder than you think. The Saints at the Jaguars.
Well, even though Drew Brees isn't playing, you have to go with the Saints, I think. I mean, even though the mustache guy in Jacksonville that you're wearing the jersey for,
he actually.
I know his name. I just didn't want to say it.
Oh, you can't say it, right? Confidential.
See, I didn't appreciate you doing that. You're trying to undermine me and get information from me.
No.
However, moving right along, I just want to go with the Saints. I'm going with the Saints.
Okay.
Even though you're wearing a Jacksonville jersey. I just noticed it.
Okay, I'm wearing a Jacksonville jersey because we did a fun little bit on the show a couple weeks ago, and Minshew loved my mustache, thought it was so great that he actually sent me this shirt. And as much as I love him, and I want to take them over the Saints, because sometimes the Saints don't travel well, they don't play well on the road, and you're talking Jacksonville. It's still October, it's very humid. I just love what Teddy Bridgewater is doing. I mean, can you imagine a team winning without Drew Brees, a great Hall of Fame quarterback, but they're doing it because they're controlling the clock, they're running, and that defense is outstanding. I mean, it is really outstanding, and I trust them. I trust them in this moment, and I think they'll win. That leaves us with one
I just
thing.
wanted to say one other thing, too. They lost my luggage in Jacksonville, so I called about 5 holding penalties on them. Anyway, I wasn't supposed to do that, but since I'm masked and they don't know, what the heck, right?
Okay, biased. Okay, 49ers at don't lose his luggage, by the way. 49ers at Rams.
That's a tough one. I like Kyle Shanahan. He's a great young coach. I'm going to take the 49ers. Jared Goff has been throwing a lot of interceptions, and we've been calling a lot of penalties on him, too,
I know. They're fun to call penalties. Well, yeah, you did help them against the Saints, though. Every time they play the Saints, you have something against the Saints.
Look, if we didn't call penalties, they wouldn't need us. I'd be unemployed.
Okay, but you're costing the Saints games. People say, not me, but people say you're costing them games. Does this have any truth, maybe because of what they did to Brett Favre several years ago in the NFC Championship game when he played for the Minnesota Vikings and they were going low at his knees and then hit Manning in the Super Bowl?
I work for a very credible union. The Referees Players Association is very credible. Now, we call fouls and penalties the way we see them because, we don't try to interfere with the game. But if the players make mistakes, we call them. Even if they seem to come in bunches,
Yeah. All right, anyways, getting back at the Rams or 49ers at the Rams. This is a really tough game to pick. And if you really think about this, the Rams lack balance. They're not running the ball. The offensive line's playing terrible. And Jared Goff has been inconsistent. I thought he actually played well, not last week, but the week before, considering what he has at his disposal right now for Jared Goff. But I don't trust him. And this 49ers defense, even though I'm still not a fan and I'm not buying in 100%, to the San Francisco 49ers yet. I told you, it's a 6 games before I react. So I'm not overreacting. They're only 4-0. Give me another game. But this is the first team that the 49ers have played. First game that's actually credible at the Rams, but I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to go with the 49ers because that D is going to rough up Goff until their offensive line gets better. Maybe they run the ball with Gurley. There seems like there's a lot of things that could be wrong with the Rams right now. And 49ers are playing well. We'll take them. I want to thank you for doing the picks.
I want to thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I really didn't have a choice having you. You threw my producer, co-host out. You gave him 2 penalties, right? 2 penalties?
Well, I had to call it like I see it. I happened to be in town for a convention, and I just thought I'd stop by. I heard a lot of great things about the show, and I wanted to stop by. And this has been my psychiatrist told me this is part of my therapy. As far as, working out the kinks in my personality and things, I got to work through this,
Okay, that means we would love to have you on the show again, I guess.
Really?
No.
Really?
Yeah, really.
You know what? I don't get to touch uniforms. But, see, one thing you don't realize that How would you feel if you had to walk around all the time in a striped shirt? I can't be like you. I'm not an everyday person. People have to respect me. People look at me and form these opinions of me. We're very emotional.
Okay, well, since I'm very empathetic today, we will welcome you back on Food and Football another day, another show. Thank you for watching. Please, Food and Football on Facebook. Follow us, like us, have a wonderful day. My Twitter address is @Brads56. Tell us what you love about food and what you eat, and we'll talk about it. That is all coming up next week.
It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. That's why we're here to sing football.